Kind of sound radio. We're tuning in to change.
Hello, everyone. You're here with me, your host, Juliette Bryant, on Kinda Sound Radio. And today we have a very exciting show. I am speaking to the rather inspirational Kal Key. Now, Kal Key is a musician who has a top 10 album on iTunes. He also runs a successful coaching company helping organizations and CEOs deliver inspirational content. So, welcome to the show, Kal Key.
Thank you so much. Great to be here with you. And yeah, can't wait to talk to you.
Amazing. So, what we're really looking at today is we're talking about the release of your new song. So, you've got a song coming out called Daughter, don't you, on the 8th of April?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's a song called Daughter. I've got two girls myself, and the song isn't about them, but it's about all girls that have gone through any sort of suffering, sisters, mothers, etc. It's a cause that's very dear to my heart.
And what inspired you to write this song?
Because a few years ago, I was just reading an article in the news about a girl in India who'd had unspeakable things happen to her. And yeah, it was just as I was reading that, I was thinking, how is this still going on in this day and age? And it was painful to read it. And I was thinking about my girls and how lucky and safe they are. And that should be the case for all girls, for all people, actually. And then I just sat at the piano and started writing this song. And like many of us, whether you have a belief in a higher power or not, we'll always be in this place where we'll go through some suffering. And then in that suffering, we'll reach out to what's the point of life, or please help me with this issue that I've got, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, whatever. We have that calling out. And I was thinking, the things I'm calling out for are insignificant compared to what these girls are going through. So one of the lines is, "My Lord, won't you help her before my prayer?" My prayer is insignificant compared to what these children are going through.
Yeah, it's such a powerful thing, isn't it? I think when we connect with the struggles, especially for me, for children. I've got 3 boys, I don't have any girls, but seeing the struggle that children are going through around the world, that breaks my heart so often.
Yeah. And the people that suffer the most are children when there is war, when there is famine, when there is just children. They're such innocent beings. And the amount of suffering that they go through is just horrific around the world. So any charities, causes that help with that, I always feel inspired.
And talking of that, you are supporting a charity, aren't you, called FFLV, which is all about empowering girls through education in India. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So what happens is in this particular charity, they go out to girls across villages. In a particular village, there's a town or a village called Vrindavan in India, and they are helping girls there get education.
Yeah.
And education is such a basic right for all human beings. But because of poverty, because of circumstance, quite often these girls are denied access to this education, and they're forced to work, or even worse, get married very young and early, and then go and work in that household. And so they're denied access to education, which could totally drastically change their life opportunities.
I spent 3.5 years in India, and I feel quite at home in India in many ways. There's a lot of deep resonance I have with it, and the culture and the religion. But there were some aspects that I found very hard, which was the kind of, not by everyone, of course, but by a lot of people, the degradation of the female in the culture, seeing the female as less than.
Mm-mm.
And that, for me, I've always stood up to being quite strong for equality. And it's something that actually, as I've got older, the whole thing about equality has changed a lot. When I was 15, I was standing up in school doing talks about how men and women didn't get paid the same, and they still don't.
Mm-mm.
But I think, as society, we've gone very much the other way, where women have become almost men in so
Yeah.
many ways. We've taken on this role of going, I've got to succeed. So in order to succeed, I've got to be a man.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
And we've demasculated the men because they're
Mhm.
like, well, where do I fit in? What am I meant to do? And we've kind of come out of the flow of what I believe is that divine feminine that we should be in, really.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that?
it's such a good point. I'll address that first issue that you talked about in India, how you said in India you saw the degradation of the feminine.
Mm,
And that has happened because of so much change in India over hundreds of years.
mm,
But the reality of traditional Indian and India, the word is actually a misnomer as well, but this traditional Vedic culture that existed in India was one of celebrating the feminine. Feminine, the word is Shakti. And Shakti, that's the female, that means female, but that literally translates to the power, the energy of God.
mm,
And so there's a huge misunderstanding about what it is to be feminine or the benefit of having a daughter or a mother or a sister, etc. And because so much of society has focused on economics and the man has been viewed as the person who goes out and earns money,
mm.
comes back, brings that money, and that's where all the value is placed.
Yeah.
And society as a whole, and that's both men and women, have then gone, okay, well, if I'm not having economic value, then I have no value.
And I think that still happened in the Western world, in this country. It's like the woman who stays home to look out after the children is
Mm,
considered to be less than. She's just a housewife,
yeah.
but actually it's the most important role looking after a child and bringing them into this world. But, it's not limiting her saying that she can't work. But I think that role of degrading even in the West, in
Mm,
all cultures, saying the housewife is meaningless because of this lack of financial
mm, mm, mm.
equality.
Yeah. It's crazy. And that's because it's easy to quantify the economic value. We can put a number on it. We can go, okay, well, this is how much money you've earned. And so therefore, to have value, you have to do the same thing. But it doesn't, it's nonsense.
Mm,
To have a balanced household or a balanced society, we need to be valuing so many other things
mm,
in the same proportion that we're valuing economics.
yeah.
Whether it's music, whether it's art, it doesn't matter whether it's masculine or feminine, but we are so focused on the things that just can be valued with numbers and then money.
And
And
you see this a lot in the education system, even, the pushing out of the arts, the pushing out of the funding for music, for all these things, which, I guess if you look at, you can break things down to masculine or feminine. The arts generally doesn't mean that men can't do it, have more of that feminine flow, that inspiration, that kind of creative flow, which wouldn't be considered such a masculine trait. But yet, as you said, this kind of Shakti energy, it is the force behind God. It is the force the creative force of life.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. And to your other point where you're talking about equality, equality has to be there, as in we have to have equal respect for both masculine and feminine, for male and female. But there is a difference, and it's okay, and it's good to recognize and celebrate that difference, because those two things, the difference, when that difference comes together, that's what creates new life.
Mm.
You need that difference to create new life, whether it's a man and a woman coming together, or whether it's you've got two different gene pools coming together. That difference creates such beauty.
And it's also that inspiration in it, isn't it? When we have different forces, if you look at it kind of from the divine masculine, divine feminine, we both have this,
Mm,
the yin and the yang within us. And when we find that union, that balance within ourselves, that's when we can truly shine as individuals, because we've come into union with ourselves, and then we can come into union with others and find that balance. But when we're striving to be too much of one thing or the other and neglecting the other, saying, I can't be like that, I can't be emotional, I can't be
yeah, yeah.
feminine, because that's considered weak. And I,
Mm-mm.
I think this is a lot in India as well, this weak sign of weakness, that the female is considered weaker.
Mm.
Um, And that's where a lot of the pushing out of the woman happens, I think.
Yeah, and it happens all over the world. This view of women being weaker, and in certain circumstances, the body of a woman is going to be weaker, but the mind of a woman can often be stronger. It's yeah, it's we have to receive the difference between man and a woman.
So, with this charity that you've got involved with, what kind of spurred you on to get involved? Obviously, you said you've got two daughters, and so
Yeah.
seeing this, how well they're living in comparison. But why this charity? What about them really kind of propelled you to work with them?
The work they do and the transformation that you see in the girls and the experiences in life are just phenomenal. When I was there, and hopefully we'll get a chance to show the interview with this one girl, Varsha, she was sharing her story and how education has changed her life. You just look at it and you go, oh, wow, you've made this education has made such a difference to who you are, what you can now do for your family, and the respect that you deserve.
Mm.
A lot of these girls, children will spend their days, especially in this particular school that work's being done. They will wake up very, very early, go out, maybe travel a good mile or so to go and get some water, go and get other things, come back. And then before you know it, they're doing housework, and then they're making the dinner, and they're 5, 6 years old. And when I look at my children, and at 5 or 6, they're able to play and enjoy. And you see these girls that are unable to do that. You think, wow, you should be. Childhood is about playing, and you should have the opportunity to do that.
Well, since you've just introduced it so nicely, can we hear this interview now from this girl? So tell me about this girl before we hear it that we're listening to in this interview.
Great. So there's a girl called Varsha, and this is one of many stories. And she's just describing her experience after her father passed away, and how she was treated, or the family viewed her for being a girl. And it's an uncomfortable video to watch. When you watch it, you feel uncomfortable. And there's a part of you that looks at it and goes, oh no, but that's not everybody. That's not what happens across India. And it's just one particular case. And then you think, well, yeah, I'm feeling that way because it's uncomfortable. But actually, even if it is just one case, which it isn't, there are many, 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 many cases of it. It shouldn't be happening. And we need to air it. We need to voice it. People need to see it and go, hey, this isn't right. We need to do something about it.
Well, let's have a listen. Django over in the studio headquarters. Can you play the interview now?
Listen to this incredible story of Varsha, who, through education, she was able to transform her life. I would say even saved her life.
Just go and get education. You have to be the proper knowledge about what is right and what is wrong. And my father passed away. Like after a couple of days, my grandfather told my mother, like, you have only a daughter, you don't have son. And I consider daughter is only a garbage of the house, because once they get married, they became the garbage of another house.
Oh my gosh.
He told me this in front of me.
I'm so sorry.
I won't be a garbage. I won't be a diamond. And now when he see me, like, I'm working, I'm making my family, my mother happy. Before, he used to ignore my mother, me, and sorry. They started considering me and my mother like we are not the part of the family, because I don't have.
I'm so sorry. Let me tell you one thing. You are all priceless diamonds and angels, and you do so much. Just hearing your stories, what you do for your families, I am overwhelmed with how incredible you all are.
My mother proudly says to me, like, you are my son, you are my husband, you are my brother, you are my everything.
can see you are more than a son, more than a brother, more than a husband. You are Shakti. That is God's energy, power.
And daughter is not enough for me to feel for you. Oh, and sister is hard to believe the truth. It's not easy for us to face up to you. The system is broken. Oh, the system is broken. My heart is choking. Oh, my heart is choking. Please help her before my prayer.
Wow, what a powerful story. And when she was crying, it really just like makes me want to cry now. You know, it's heartbreaking to think that anyone would consider themselves to be like well, their families would consider them to be worthless and like rubbish. I mean, that's
Every
it's
time,
hard to listen to. As you said, it is uncomfortable that
every
that
time I
is
watch it,
going on. Sorry.
every time I watch it, I feel something. And being there when I was there, and I just couldn't control my tears. And you see the pain on her face, the pain in her words, and then you see this incredible strength that she's got, this resilience to go, I'm not going to be garbage. I'm going to be a diamond. And you see that power and that strength, and you go, that's incredible. You've been through something so bad, so horrible, yet you've got the fight and resilience to go, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to power through. I'm working for my mum. I'm working for other girls. And that is to be admired.
And so often, you know, I think that we have to go through adversity for that light to come through. It's like we have to go to the depths of hell. We have to get into that darkness to go, no, no, I am more than this.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
that strength and that light shines through. And then, you know, in my own life, I've seen it. It's then allows you to reach so many more people because where you're coming from is truth. It's not
Yeah.
read. It's real experience.
Yeah. And you can take those experiences and share them. That evening after that, we did that interview. In fact, it was a couple of nights later. I just woke up and I started writing something out around being a victim and what you've been through. And all of us will have been through something.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of us, but a lot of us, whether it's because we were a woman, whether it's because we were black or brown or whatever, there's something that we've been through. And I was thinking my own experience, I suffered a lot of racism when I was young. And I thought to myself, having been through that is not enough. We're in a very victim mindset when I think about social media, when I think about people. We've all been through some sort of trauma, but it seems as though there's this fabric in society where right now a lot of us will sit in that trauma. And I was thinking, it's not enough to have just been through it. We actually need to use that and then go and do something about it to help other people. And not only will it help them, it will help us and realize, hey, what I've been through is probably not that bad. And actually, when I'm helping somebody else, my pain just disappears and they're getting help. It's this beautiful upward spiral that we can create. And the more initiatives we can create for society to be able to do that are going to benefit society, are going to benefit individuals as well that have been through things.
It is that thing of service, I think, isn't it? You know, when we are of service to others, when we come out of our pity for ourselves and whatever's going on and we serve, if you want to do it in the terms of the divine, you know, we serve the purpose of God, the divine, the universe, whatever it is. But we're serving from that place of love and devotion. I think that's when we are gifted so much more, because it takes us out of, first of all, it takes us out of our own problems and woe is me and all the stuff that's going on. But then just doing that service is just, I mean, I've had so many magical experiences where I feel like I've been really blessed by the divine in those moments of service when you just give everything. and you're at that point where you're like, I can't give any more, and then you just get washed with the blessings of the divine.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Denzel Washington, he said something really nice. When you give, you're receiving so much more. And in these experiences, they're thanking us when we were in India and we were helping with these girls. They were saying, thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the work you're doing, for the funds you're raising. And we're saying, thank you. And then we spoke to the teachers, and the teachers said, we are so grateful for these students because even though we're the ones teaching, they have given us purpose. One teacher, she travels an hour and a half every day on a bullock cart to get to this school. And her husband said to her, why are you doing this? There's so many schools. She goes, you just do not understand. These girls give me so much life.
Wow.
And in the morning, they do this thing where they all dance and they dance to prayers. And they are so joyful. You see the smiles on their faces. And they're so grateful for everything that they receive. We could learn so many lessons from them in the West. We often talk about this idea of being grateful and gratitude. I've got to be grateful. And it's become a slogan. But when you see these girls being just grateful for the smallest of things, go, that's it right there. They've got something that I don't have.
Mm.
They really do.
But I think when you've gone through, you know, my middle son, we went through a awful time for a few years where he was very, very unwell mentally. And now he's come through it, and I feel so blessed. And his trauma led me to create products for other people, which have now helped hundreds of people. But every day when I see him and he says, I love you, Mum, and he's well, it's just like, I feel so honored and so blessed and so grateful because we've been through literally hell and back. And I think that, as you said, when you've been through that trauma, then you feel so grateful for the smallest of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And your benchmark for what you want in life, or the ideas for what you want in life just shift.
Yeah.
Just absolutely shift.
So in a minute, I'm really excited you're going to play this song for us. But you said you wrote this song not based on your daughters, but tell me a little bit more about the inspiration and the flow. You were obviously thinking about these girls that you're helping, but what really brought on that moment where you're like, I need to, this song just flowed through you?
So as I said, I was reading this article about what happened to a girl, and it's just unthinkable things. And so she was taken advantage of, young girl, 7 years old. And then because of what happened to her, nobody wanted her anymore. And she was essentially just abandoned. She was walking through a village, a town, and just begging. And so I wrote these words, walking so no man can find her. Because to her now, a man is a predator.
Yeah.
And she lives like a beggar in the wind. So then I was thinking, wow, this, and just visualizing what she's going through. And then in the chorus, it's daughter, that's the song. But daughter is not enough for me to just feel for you, because we can read these articles and then we can go, oh, I feel really sad. Dinner's ready. Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then you just get on with your life. And then the next line is, sister, it's hard to believe the truth. And I've got a sister who's been through a horrific case of domestic abuse. And in this country, and the court system is just totally, wasn't able to help. And so one of the other charities that we're supporting with this song is Women's Aid here in the UK as well, to help women that have gone through all sorts of domestic abuse, violence, etc. That it's hard to see or hear these things happen.
Yeah.
And actually we need to move into some sort of action with it all.
I mean, that must have been hard, hearing that your sister was going through that, and what could you do? It must have made you feel quite powerless.
Yeah, and I like to think of myself as a strong male who would fight for a woman's protection, but she didn't tell us all of this until the end, because she knew that, if I say something, it will destroy what I'm fighting to keep.
Yeah.
And then when she did, the question was, why didn't you tell me? I would have been there. I would have sorted this thing out. But yeah, this is, there's so many cases of this as well. And I know we're shifting gears here, but women and my experience of hearing stories. And I remember watching this movie, and there was a stat on there about how women will go back to the same situation 8 times before they actually leave. They'll go back to the same domestic abuse situation on average 8 times before they will actually leave.
And some of them, that 8th time or the 7th time is the one that kills them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's that, I think it comes down to a lot, it's that preservation, especially if you've got children, of wanting to preserve that family unit, wanting to keep it intact because you feel like you're the failure otherwise if you don't. And this is the kind of brainwashing that we've had in our societies, that you're a failure if your family life breaks down.
Totally. Yeah. And yeah, it is a shame that people will then risk their life because of that as well. And I look at my girls, and I want them to be strong and courageous, and I want them to know that they have a right to stand up to anybody who is abusing them or making them feel less than.
Beautiful. So this song is coming out on April the 8th. Is it on all the normal streaming platforms?
Yeah, all the platforms.
Brilliant. And can people buy the album as well as a physical copy, or is it just a digital release?
We're just going to keep it digital because that's how most people consume music these days. Maybe in the future we'll do an album print.
Brilliant. Beautiful. So we're going to hear now you playing an acoustic version of this song, which is really exciting. So this is Daughter by Kal Key.
Great. Thank you so much.
Walking so no man can find her. She lives like a beggar in the wind. She's an angel of misfortune. My Lord, won't you help her before my prayer? I cast aside no one but a shadow. One billion people, yet she's alone. She's an angel beyond my feelings. My Lord, won't you help her before my prayer? And daughter is not enough for me to feel for you. Oh, and sister, it's hard to believe the truth. It's not easy for us to face up to you. The system is broken, my heart is choking. Please help her before my prayer. And daughter is not enough for me to feel for you. Oh, and sisters, hard not easy for us to face up to you. The system is broken. My heart is choking. Please help her before my prayer.
Thank you.
What an incredibly beautiful song that is. And I know that's just you playing acoustically without all the sound effects. And that was stunning. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for playing that for us.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Juliette. Yeah, it's nice to share that, but also hoping that we can reach as many people as we can to help support and make a change in the world.
Yes. So April 8th, type in Kal Key and Daughter on all of your streaming platforms. And I think if everyone streams this lots and lots and lots of times, I mean, I think I want to anyway because it's so beautiful. But if we all just start streaming it, then you're going to get more revenue for these charities that you're supporting. Absolutely,
yeah. And all the money goes to support the charities as well. I'm very fortunate that I'm a musician and I play music. I've sang in all sorts of different places around the world, but this isn't how I make my money. I'm very lucky to have a very successful business, and so this is a hobby, but I get to do it as a passion project and then help support charities like this. We're also giving as well, so whatever donations we get, I'm going to match those up to £10,000 as well for these charities. But that's just the beginning. I hope we can do so much more.
That's beautiful. What, with your business, obviously we've been talking a lot about the charity and things like that, but with your business, your successful coaching business, tell me what inspired you to get into that. What do you love about it or not?
Great. Yeah, so our business is called Ekios, and it's an international company. So we've got offices in New York, in London, and presence in Asia and the Middle East. So we help companies just develop their talent. So everything from leadership to a women's empowerment program through to technology and finance as well. So we lead primarily training and coaching programs. I used to work on the trading floor. So when I was younger, I was good at maths and studied engineering. And at that time, lots of banking firms, they were hiring engineers to work on their trading floors, build out algorithms for trading. So I did that. And I've got a very mathematical mind, but after a while I thought, oh, this isn't me. I need to do something else. I'm a natural speaker and I enjoy working with people. So I went to work for another company and helped build their business out, and we sold that business in 2013. In fact, we sold that business the same day that my first daughter was born.
Wow.
Everything happened exactly at the same time. And I remember money hitting the account at the same time. Yeah, she came out of the womb, and we called her Narayani, which is another name for the goddess of fortune. So
it's interesting on that point, quickly, if I can interject. They say, well, what I believe is that every child brings their financial abundance in. So to the parents, they bring in their energy, and as their energy is birthed, we receive that a financial blessing or not, depending on what the child's karma is. So obviously her karma was to bring that blessing to you guys.
Absolutely. So it was such a beautiful experience. And so I was already in this space helping lead teams and helping organizations. And then a few years later, after taking some time out, then established this business in 2017. And so I run it with my brother. He heads up the business in the US. And I feel very grateful and fortunate for all the experiences that I do have. And now we've got a great team of coaches that work across primarily the finance industry, but we help a lot of people. And our sweet spot is helping people communicate.
Nice.
If you can help people communicate, then you can help them solve all sorts of problems. Most of our problems come through our lack of communication with others.
Definitely.
And so we focus a lot on on that piece.
Amazing. That's absolutely brilliant. And do you love it? Does it give you that real sense of fulfillment?
I absolutely love it, and I'm so grateful to have it. There is always a lack in life, no matter what your position is, no matter what you achieve, there will always be a lack. And the other day I was thinking, oh, there's a particular area I have a lack in terms of, yeah. So there was and I was thinking, to even think about that lack would be ungrateful to all of the other wonderful things I have. I have a beautiful team at work, and I get to spend wonderful time with them, beautiful clients that I get to work with and coach. And I was thinking that I have so much to be grateful for in life.
It's a beautiful thing, gratitude. No, when we can really look at where we are and what we've got and have that gratitude. But I think it's also okay through that gratitude to go, okay, a friend says plan, do, check, act. So you look at everything, you plan it, and then you check, well, where's it successful? Where's it not? And then you can act on those things so that you create that balance, because so often one area can be doing well and another suffers. So,
Mhm.
I think constantly looking at everything, reevaluating and finding out where can I come back into that balance with everything while still being in that space of gratitude and love is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you just sit and go, okay, I'm not going to put anything into action, because we all need that. We need that growth. We need to push ourselves. We need to feel as though we are achieving things. Jordan Peterson, he said this really nice thing about purpose. And he was talking about how against all your suffering, the only backdrop you can put against it to feel something good is one of purpose. Because when you have purpose, then you're not so worried about being happy or being sad. You just go, okay, well, this is my purpose, and I need to crack on with that purpose, and that fulfills you.
I think that's so true. I think if we can have, I feel very blessed. I've always had known what my purpose is in this life. So I've
Mm-hmm.
always just been able to go forward. As you said, regardless of what's going on, it's like I've got a mission and I have to achieve that mission. And for me, my mission is to connect people into the earth, and through that remembrance of who they are.
Mm.
And, for me, the earth is the mother. It's that divine mother, and connecting people back into, we're not separate from this earth. We are part of this beautiful creation, and if we can honor that, I think what I've seen is so many people then wake up to the beauty of themselves as part of something incredible.
Love what you are saying. Quite often in funerals, people, there's that prayer from ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And ashes to ashes, dust. What is dust? Dust is earth.
Mm,
And it's amazing to think that the earth, that's where our body comes from.
mm,
And one day that's where our body will end up.
yeah.
And if we're not asking the questions of what's the point of all of this in between, what do I do with my life? Then I feel as though in some respects we're wasting it.
Yeah. I think we've been programmed, haven't we, by society, by the media, by all of these things to become comfortably numb and have these blinkers on. And people think that their purpose in life is to earn money, to watch television in the night to relax, to drink alcohol, and
Yeah,
just to be in this blur. And what's happening in the world around us is we have people walking around like zombies who have been dumbed down and don't see or act upon anything they see, like the atrocities going on all around. People think, well, I can't do anything. And I can't watch the news. It's too horrific for me personally to
yeah,
actually see what's going on in the world. I can't watch it. I think, well, what I can do is I can take steps to support people in their health and their well-being and connecting them into the earth so that I can help everyone be the best that they can be, that I can reach.
totally, totally.
And I think that's what you're really doing with your work, is you're spreading it out. Obviously, you've been very successful with your music and also with your coaching business. And now you're giving back and you're spreading that out into the community to really support people who don't have the luxuries that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if the more we can do to, like we said before, when you give, you receive so much. It almost feels like cheating. You know, when you're giving and you're receiving, you're like, wait, I'm not supposed to. That's that episode in Friends where Phoebe talks with Joey about then there's never truly a selfless act. And he said that to him. She said, no, there is. And then she does something, she raises money for charity, and then she gets so happy doing it. And she went, oh damn. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be selfless. It's nice that you get joy from helping others.
Well, we need to fill up our cups as well, because if our cups are empty, then we get to
You
a
can't
point
do
where
it.
we burn out and we can't keep going. So
Yeah.
there has to be that reciprocation, and that's, you know, that's what the earth and all of nature and everything is about, that reciprocation, that
Always.
creating that flow.
Yeah,
And
it's
like
huge reciprocity
yeah,
in I love what you just said there, in earth and in nature. Yeah, when something dies, it gives back to the earth and new life. All life comes from life.
exactly. So moving forward after this song has gone out, what are your goals with your life, with your work? Where do you see it going? What's the kind of grand picture of Kal Key?
Well, I have this thing where I don't plan too far ahead. I just know that my mission, my goal is to help people. And I've been given so much. When I say so much, I mean I've actually been given so much love that I want to spread that with people, not in the hippie new age way of sharing love, but actually through meaningful dialogue or meaningful causes, just listening to people, helping people with their mental health, helping people become successful in their careers, whatever it might be. But I've been given so much from a young age. We grew up in, we didn't grow up in, I grew up in very, very humble situation. Our area was right next to a council estate, red brick housing in the Midlands. And yeah, we didn't have a lot. Our parents worked hard. They were immigrants, but we didn't have a lot. And what we did have a lot of was love. My dad was there every day at 5:30 from work. We'd sit, we'd have dinner, we'd talk. I had a mum and a dad, I had grandparents, I had uncles and aunties, I had cousins, I had a brother and a sister. It was such a beautiful childhood. And I was filled with so much love and nourishment. I had a spiritual teacher. And now I see that was the real wealth. And that security that was given gives me the space and opportunity to be able to share it with others.
I think ultimately, when we have that grounding of love, it creates this solid platform of self expression. We feel safe and secure so we can go out in the world. And I think, the work that you're doing with these children in India, supporting that charity, it's giving them that foundation so that they can feel secure to step out into the world. Because if you don't feel loved and you don't feel secure, all you want to do is curl up in a ball and hide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you feel loved, you're like, yes, this is me, I'm here. What can I do to give back to the world?
Totally, yeah. And I'm so grateful for the experiences that I had where we had some hardship in terms of financially, but it was balanced out with the love. And if you'd asked me to trade, I never would have. I remember being in school and everyone having Nike trainers and us having Dunlops at the time and going, oh, okay, we've got those. But then my parents would say, well, you've got a roof over your head and you're getting, you're sitting down and having a meal with both your parents every evening. And that is just invaluable.
So many times I think, people trade money for time within families, and we see it
Yeah.
more and more, children being shipped off to childcare till late hours, and people don't sit down generally to have family meals, and all of these things which are so important for that well-being within, and the mental health of children. Now we have a huge epidemic of mental health problems with youngsters.
So sad. And the same thing that I observed when I saw these girls dancing so freely in India and they were able to be children, I was thinking, wow, they've been saved from having to work so hard and they can just be children in this space. And then I was thinking in the West to what you're saying, that we have created these children to be robots so that they can one day be successful, to then one day have a really good career and have financial income to then get a big house to then go and do. But where's the happiness? Where's the joy? Like, we're doing all of this so that one day they might have the opportunity to be happy. But how
When they've
many of us,
retired.
when they retire? Exactly. And how many of us adults feel happy in that freedom? And the other day I was flying to Connecticut to do a seminar, and that evening I had the girls. And I was a little bit stressed because I was going to fly out early in the morning and I had to get them ready for bed. And I was like, come on, girls, get ready for bed. And I came in the room and they were just jumping on the bed. They did not care that I'd given them a timeline. They were just free jumping on the bed. And I looked at them and there was a part of me that was about to go, right, girls, I've told you, you've got to. And then I went, you know what? They are so free. They are living right now in the present. I would be the cruelest human being if I told them they've got to stop and get the night suit on and get in the bed. Just went, Sanj, just let them be. And then I got a pillow and I think I whacked one of them to start a pillow fight. And then they just loved it. They're like, come on, Papa, let's get into it. And it was so much fun. And I thought these moments, we keep robbing our children of these moments. And
they're the ones that they'll remember.
Yeah,
They'll
totally.
remember them so clearly when they get older, and they'll probably tell their children, oh, I remember when my dad, we had this pillow fight and it was brilliant. And those moments will fortify them and strengthen them when they're struggling,
Yeah.
when they're going through hardship, as we all do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
We need to give children their childhood back.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? We're trying to make everyone grow up and everyone be, as you said, robots. I think that's a great way to describe it. Everything is kind of indoctrinating them into this program that is devoid of spiritual connection.
Mm.
And I think, one of the things that I loved in India, and my middle son, who had a lot of struggles, he was quite young when we were living in India, and he had a real love for Krishna, like such a huge love. And when we
Wow.
came back, he would say, where's Krishna? Krishna's not here. There's no Krishna. Why are there no pictures of Krishna? Where is Krishna? And it really affected him. And he would say that he was Indian, and we're like, you're not Indian, sweetheart, you're English. And he's like, I have an Indian soul. And this was a little 4-year-old
Amazing.
talking like this. And
Yeah.
what I look at and I see is one of the things that I loved about India and Indian culture is that there is spirituality, there is that deeper connection everywhere you look. There's the rituals, the prayers, the sacredness of life on so many levels that, we went to Varanasi and you could see that. Children being born in the river Ganges and people being
Being
burnt.
cremated in the yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And everything in between, all happening along this stretch of river. And some of the children were the happiest children I've ever seen. And I think with nothing, but they had that a feeling of, I don't like the word God so much because that invokes like a Christian, but of the divine.
Totally, yeah, absolutely. And that recognition of the circle of life. Someone yesterday sent me a little piece by Alan Watts, and in there he was talking about that life is like music, not like a journey. Because in a journey or travel, we want to get from one end to the other as quickly as we possibly can. But life is more akin to music. In music, you want to enjoy the music. You want to sing to the music. You want to dance to the music. And that's what life should be. It should be us singing along. It should be us dancing along. But so often we don't. We don't do that. We just go through the monotony. And it can be monotonous, but it's up to us to go, hey, I want to change this. And for some people, they are in really difficult situations that it's very hard to do that. But for most of us, especially in the West, we have a choice and we can choose that to make that change for ourselves.
So in a moment, we're going to finish with some more of your music, which I'm really excited to hear. But if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to support these charities, if they want to take that next step, what do they do?
So you can follow me on Instagram. Everything's there at Kal Key. I'm sure we can share it. KalKey. Follow my page. We've got links to all the charities as well. We're doing a hike on the 23rd of March to Snowdonia to raise funds. There's a link to the GiveStar page as well. You can give directly, listen to the song, download it, share it with people as you feel and wish, if you like it, of course. But yeah, and yeah, anything you can do to spread the word would be appreciated.
Beautiful. So we'll all be liking and sharing and donating to this beautiful cause. It's been really wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and share this beautiful story of yours and your inspiration and passion for helping others. It's been really an honour to talk to you. All the details are in the blog, so do in the description, so do check that out so you can click on all of the links from there. You've been with me, your host, Juliette Bryant, on Kinder Sound Radio. Thank you so much for listening. And if you've enjoyed this show, there are so many other incredible shows by amazing presenters on Kinder Sound Radio. But as anything, we need support and help as well. So please do think about donating. Click the donate button on kindersound.org so you can support more beautiful shows like this going out. Thank you very much and lots of love.
He's always heard a different beat, seen the lie in everyone he meets. Their eyes tell a story, living a world built on fantasy. Synthetic love, plastic reality. His appetite it never rests, climbing ladders, some new conquest. Searching for the illusion, chasing the fickle hand of glory, burning his mark, same old story. Grey ghost walking free will knocking on his bolted darkened door. Shadows stalking, wake up calling, oh. Hometown, I'm running out of time. Take me away from here so I can be found. Hometown, won't you call my name? We'll be together, just call me my friend. They promised happiness and the life of a magazine. An empire of emptiness, just another program machine. World, won't you leave him, just let him be. There's nothing more to give, set him free. Grey ghost walking free will knocking on his bolted darkened door. Shadows stalking, wake up calling, oh. Hometown, I'm running out of time. Take me away from here so I can be found. Hometown, won't you call my name? We'll be together, just call me my friend. Hometown, I'm running out of time. Take me away from here so I can be found. Hometown, won't you call my name?